that again. All right. And this recording is super, super important. It is the end of our final, or like our final review.
Yes.
Okay, guys. We are not going to get through the entire review. We're only going to get up to page 9, right?
We'll finish 9. Yeah.
We'll finish 9. Yeah. So because of that, we will have to finish it during tutoring time. So if you guys want, you guys can come during tutoring. I know, some of you guys already come here anyways, but if you guys can't make it to tutoring, we will be recording the tutoring session. And that way you guys can still be able to see how to finish it off. And then once we're done with the tutoring session, this might end up being a longer tutoring session, just because there is quite a few more pages left that we need to get done. So if you guys can't stay for the entire thing, or you guys can't stay, at all, that's fine. I will be recording the entire session. And let's say nobody shows up. Ms. Gomez and I will talk to each other as we're like teaching, how to do these lessons. So even if you guys can't make it, that's totally fine. But you will end up seeing a recording of it. Where do you see the recording? You'll go to your Google Classroom. And it'll be right here. Yesterday's video is right here, but all of you guys were here. Oh no, one of you guys, Lisandro, you weren't here yesterday. So the stuff that we finished yesterday is going to be right here. For everybody, here is the link to today's assignment. It's the same one as yesterday. We're still continuing it. So let me pull it up. And then again, guys, we're done with class today. Like, that's it. All assignments are due by Monday. I will even give it to you guys until midnight. That also includes this review. If you guys, if you watch the videos or not, however far you guys get, please make sure to turn in that review. And that's going to help you guys out with your final as well. Starting Monday, you guys are going to take your final. And then if you guys want, you guys can use Monday's tutoring time to work on your final. So we'll give you guys 1 extra hour during tutoring time on Monday to work on your final. And then maybe you don't have to show up on Tuesday because you finished it all on Monday. Or you just want to make sure you absolutely have everything done. Can Ms. Gomez and I help you guys out on your final during tutoring time? No. That is just more time for you guys to do your stuff. So that is not a tutoring at all on Monday. That is a extra hour for you guys to finish your final or work on your final. But that's it for this. Let's go through our assignments. We got, well, I'll show you guys what, ooh, my light got delivered. There's Hiram.
There's Hiram. Make sure you're clicking on that link in the chat. That takes you directly to the Classkick review.
Yeah, so let me put that in one more time. So that link right there will send you guys to your review. Again, guys, do you have to be on like watching your Zoom session at all today? No. So if you guys are using your iPad to Zoom and then your phone to do your assignment, I would switch it for today, because you don't have to see my ugly face. Like, you guys need to be paying attention to your, Classkick, because on Classkick, you guys can see everything that we're doing live. So yeah, totally fine. But thank you. I kind of figured when you didn't show up, on time. But what did we do? We did Monday, we did Monday. We did question 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 yesterday.
Yeah.
We're gonna work on question 6. So all of you guys should be on question 6. Even if you guys weren't here yesterday, you should still be on question 6. And the way that I'm going to walk you guys through this is strategies on how to do it. That could help you guys be able to do like process of elimination or anything like that. So I hope me talking gave you guys enough time to get over to this assignment. I'm switching over on this side too. I clicked on you, hello. There we go. I see all of you guys. Awesome. Okay. So let's look at this assignment. So we're going to do question 6. Remember, I do evens, Ms. Gomez does odds. I would look at this line right here. Again, it does say which equation best represents the graph below. So we're looking at A through D to figure out what the line is. So I'm going to look right here. I see that I have a -1 as my y-intercept. So I'm going to look. This is -1, that's -1, that's -1, and that's -1. Unfortunately, that doesn't help me be able to like get rid of any of these. So I'm just going to put a number 1. These are for checking to see if I can get rid of any questions first. So the first check I can do is I can check that. The second check that I can do is I can write the word slope. So if I write the word slope, I can tell that this is decreasing, which means slope is negative. So since I know that when slope's going down, it's decreasing and my slope is negative, I can then again go back here. That's negative. That's negative. Well, this teacher sucks, which is me, but like this teacher sucks because all of them are negative. All right, yours isn't the case. So some of them are positive, some of them are negative. So maybe you'll be able to do a process of elimination. All right. So that would be the second thing that you guys could do to try and see if I can get rid of any of them. Now we can start writing our equation. So we know at the very least that my y-intercept is going to be -1. I need to figure out what my slope is. All right, so I'm going to know, okay, here's my first dot. Again, let me zoom in a little bit more. And I'm going to go down, 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 up. There's a point right there. So then I can do my rise over run. Remember, slope is rise divided by run. So let's figure out what my fraction is going to be. I'm going to count 1, 2, and 3. Since I went down, that would be a -3. So there's that negative that I was looking for. See how we have negatives? My slope is negative, so one of these numbers needed to be negative. And then I can do my run. I'm running 1, 2. Since I went to the right, that's going to be a +2. So then I know my slope is -3 over 2. Well, that's a horrible 2. Okay. So now let's go through A through D. A says my slope is -3. No, that's not it. This one says it's 2 over 3. Some of you guys might pick this one because you guys did run and then rise, but it's not that one either. Here's the correct order. So it's going to be C. And this one only has that 2, so that's not it. So that's it. All we need to do, again, I did a lot of extra work. However, I want to make sure that you guys understand a couple of the tricks that you guys can do to make your life a little bit easier. We have 3 minutes on this one.
Yes.
So remember, we do the top one. You guys are going to do the bottom one. I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes so that you guys can work on this. Ms. Gomez and I will be giving you guys tips or, you know, letting you guys know if you guys are on the right track or not. So you guys have 3 minutes. You know, I find it interesting that this group doesn't even need to show work.
Mhm.
Like everyone else was like, okay, I need to do like this and this and this. And you guys are like, okay, I already got this. But good job, guys. A lot of you guys are already done. Like, that's pretty awesome. For those of you guys who are still working through it and showing me all that work, you like, you guys are doing great. Guys, watch out for your slope. Some of you guys are picking one, but again, write the word slope. Is that a positive slope or is that a negative slope? Awesome. Okay. So with that, you guys should be able to tell me, like, figure out 99% of you guys got it right. You guys were able to tell me that it was B. Some of you guys wrote C because you're not paying attention to the word slope. Is this going up or is this going down? Double check that. All right. I'm going to give up control and Ms. Gomez is going to take over.
All right. So you guys want to go ahead and follow me over to page 7.
Okay, Jessica, you just need to like just yell at me. I need you to yell at me. Well, not like full blown yell at me, but you just need to yell at me and be like, dude, stop. It's fine.
Okay, so we are moving on to page 7. This is our 7th question. You have a table and the question is asking you to find a linear function which is represented by the table below. So first of all, we've noticed that students really like tables. So good, we have a table here. And they're already telling you it's a linear function. Remember, when we're looking at a linear function or a linear table, we know we have some either an adding or subtracting pattern. So if we're looking for an adding or subtracting pattern, you look at the y values or the table values here. 3, 7, 11, and 15. But they want us to find the correct equation. So notice that A is f of x equals 3x plus 1, B is f of x equals 5x minus 3, C is f of x equals negative 5 times 3 to the power of x, and D is f of x equals 4x minus 5. Now, if we have a linear function that has an adding or subtracting pattern, you need to remember what that equation should look like. It's our slope-intercept form. It could be y or it could be f of x. Remember, those two are the same, but we should have a slope or rate of change m, x, and then b, our y-intercept. So it should be in this form. When I look at A, it does seem to have that form, except it has f of x, which is fine. But we have 3x plus 1. So we have the slope and we have a y-intercept. B also shows us a slope and a y-intercept. But when I get to C, it doesn't seem to have that linear function format. This has x as the exponent. So right away, I can just look at that option and eliminate it. We can't choose that as an option. And then we look at the last one here, f of x equals 4x minus 5. Yes, that has a slope, that has a y-intercept, so it's going to be either A, B, or D. So how do we find out what the slope is and what the y-intercept is? Well, to do that, we need to look at the pattern. Find a pattern that gets us from 3 to 7, 7 to 11, and 11 to 5. Remember, they told us it's linear. So we're either adding or subtracting. Well, 3 is going up if we're going to 7. So that means we're adding. This is an adding pattern since it's increasing. Well, 3 plus 4 gets us that 7. 7 plus 4 is also going to give us that 11. And 11 plus 4 is also going to give us that 15. Since you found your pattern, that gave us our slope, m. So we can already get an idea of what this equation should look like. It should be y equals our slope that we just found, 4x. Don't forget that x needs to be next to it. And now we need the y-intercept, or the initial value. Well, the initial value, we could only get that when we had 0 here for our x. Whatever number we had below it here, that's our initial value. Since we don't have it, we need to do some work, or we need to use our pattern and go backwards. So take a look at your x's. We go from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. If I work backwards, I can get the 1 for the x value there, and then I can get to 0, which would give me the initial value, which means I have to go backwards. So instead of adding 4 every time, if I want to go backwards, I can just try to subtract by 4. So I can go over here and say, what is 3 minus 4? That is -1. And now I repeat that, but with the -1. So -1 minus 4, that is -5. And that just helped me find my y-intercept. So it should look like this. It should have the 4 as the rate of change and the -5 as the y-intercept. If I look at these, the only one that has that 4x is D, and it also does show me that I have the y-intercept of -5. So the correct answer here is D. Okay, so remember, you want to find a pattern and you want to write the equation correctly. So now it's your guys' turn to go ahead and work on the question 7 that has the table, and you're looking for a linear function.
Ms. Gomez, where'd you get the -5 from?
Oh, good question. Okay. Let me work backwards here. Okay, so remember you found that your pattern was adding 4? That's our slope, but we still need B, the y-intercept. But we can't find the y-intercept unless we have x equaled to 0. Look at your table on the top. We have 2 for x, 3 for x, 4 for x, and 5 for x. So that none of these numbers are going to help us with the initial value. So we have to go in here ourselves and put in that we need the 1 here for x. So it's like making or adding to your table here. We need x to be 1, and then we can get to our 0 here for x. So if I went forward, I added 4. But if I need to go backwards, I can subtract 4. Or if you want to think about it this way, some number here, if I add 4, it gives me 3. It just depends which way you like to look at it. But since my mind here sees that I'm going back, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to subtract 4. So 3 minus 4, that's -1. I'm 1 step closer to getting to this here, the y-intercept. I have to go backwards 1 more time. If I'm going backwards, I need to subtract 4 again. So this is where I take that -1 that I had here, and I need to subtract 4 since I'm going backwards, and that gives me -5. I owe you $1, and then I borrow 4. I now owe you 5. That's the y-intercept. Any more questions on that one? So again, you need to work backwards. I'll make this little piece here on your table. Go backwards where you get the the y value for x equals 1, and work backwards to get you that y-intercept here when x is 0. Okay, we're going to go ahead and give you
3 or 4 minutes.
Okay, 3 or 4 minutes. I say 4.
4? Okay. Oh, wait. Resume recording. All right. So again, I'm going to do page 8. No. Yeah. Page 8 is me.
Doc,
And you guys are going to be on page 9. Yeah.
where can I find Class Kick on my iPad?
Go to the catalog.
Catalog.
Yeah. The district catalog. And then you should be able to find the app there. I think you can search for Class Kick. And it's, yeah. You guys are advanced. Oh, excuse me. Ugh. I think it's the music after listening to it so many times. It's like getting to me. All right. So you guys should all be on page 8 so that you guys can see what I'm doing. And again, I'm going to give you guys some advice as I'm going along with this. So as I see this graph, I notice this is not a line. Since I know this isn't a line, then I know it's not linear. I know it's going to be exponential. So since that's the case, then I know it's going to have a constant multiplier, which means I don't have linear and it's not going to be a constant rate. So I can cross those out. I can look at this and go, okay, what is my initial value going to be? It's going to be wherever this graph is touching the y-axis. Oh, look at that. Another good line. And where is it touching it? It's touching it at 9. So what's my initial value? My initial value is 9. So again, first figure out, is it linear or exponential? That'll let you know if you're looking for a constant rate or constant multiplier. Then we can figure out what the initial value is. After that, we can find the pattern, which means it'll tell me what my constant multiplier is. So I see I have a 9 at this point. I have a 3. So 9, 3. This point right here is a 1. And honestly, I don't really need this point. I just need these 3. So look to see what's happening with my numbers. Are they getting bigger or are they getting smaller? They're getting smaller. So this is decreasing. So decreasing. Oh, I need to reset all my stuff. So it's decreasing, which means multiplier is a fraction. It doesn't mean it's negative. It just means that it's going to be a fraction. So I'm going to have two numbers. The number on the top is going to give me a 1. And then whatever I need to divide both of these, like everything by, that's the number that's going to go to the bottom. So what did I do to 9 to get to 3? Well, I divided it by 3. That gives me 3. Well, let's try this again. If I divide this by 3, do I get 1? Yes, of course I get 1. So what's my constant multiplier? My constant multiplier is not 3, but a 1/3. So not 3, but a 1/3. So again, every single time we're decreasing, we're going to have a fraction. If we were increasing, getting bigger, then we would have a whole number right here. And there are 3 ways to write your equation, and your equation should look like this. So y equals, oh, I need to make sure that these don't come up. Whatever, go away. So a times b with an x. So what's my a? My a is my initial value. So that's 9. What's my b? My b is my multiplier. So times 1/3. And then don't forget that x. Another way that you guys can write it is 9. And instead of putting the dot, we're going to put 1/3. And then the x. And then the last way that you guys can see it would be 9 parentheses 1/3 with this little caret thing, and then the x. And this one I'll make bigger so that you guys can see. So any way that you guys want to do it in one of these ways, that's what you guys need to do. I'm giving them 5 minutes for this one, right? Okay. So then I'm going to go back here, and then you have 5 minutes. See, I don't know what I would like. What am I going to do next semester? Honestly, I'm like really tempted to just give them these recordings and not record next semester.
Just do it.
Or Jessica's just gonna have to give up on her 3rd period class and just be here all the time.
Uh-huh.
I'm good. It's P. I'm good.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll encourage everyone else in there to talk.
This is curving, so it's exponential. Here's my initial value. So then that should be 8. This is the part that you guys were getting confused on. Even if we only figured out that this was 8 and this is 2, and we have no idea about this guy. You have an 8 and you have a 2. What do I have to do to 8 to get to 2? Some of you guys were putting 2 right here. And think of that. You're telling me that 8 times 2 equals 2. That this is the pattern, and it's not. So be careful on what you guys write for your multiplier. That's your pattern right here. What did I do to 8 to get to 2? 8 to get to 2, I had to divide this by 4. And as soon as we see that we're dividing, and especially since we're getting from a bigger number to a smaller number, that means we will have a fraction. So I need to have a 1 over some number. What's that number going to be? Whatever I had to do to 8 to get to 2. What did I do to 8 to get to 2? I divided it by 4. So this is 1/4. Not 1/2. not, 2. And then some of you guys even did like 4/1. Instead, remember, this still just means 4. So it's not this. Be careful. It is just 1/4. So what's our equation? It's 8 times 1/4. And then don't forget that x. All right, we're going back to page 8 so that Ms. Gomez can go over that question.
All right, so we're back to page 8, but this time we're doing the section right underneath the graph, which is the table. Okay, so for those of you that we're working through this already ahead, most of you realize, okay, we're deciding if it's linear or exponential. Okay, so once you decide if it's linear or exponential, that's going to help you write the constant rate of change or constant multiplier and find the initial value and then the equation. But what you want to remember is the goal here, the ultimate goal, is to write an equation. So in order for you to write the correct equation, you have to decide if it's linear or exponential. So if you have forgotten, I'm going to type them up here. The linear, which line, the linear equation should be y equals mx plus b, which is what we were talking about earlier. And the exponential equation should be y equals a times b to the power of x. Each of these pieces mean different things. So the m is your rate of change, your slope. The b here is your initial value, your y-intercept. So for those of you that were having a hard time with 7, maybe this will help you see why we went backwards. Here, our b is your multiplier, which Doc just talked about earlier. That's your pattern. And a switches up here to the front. That's your initial value. So notice how they're different. Don't make mistakes on the placement. The rate for a linear equation needs to be in the front. The y-intercept or the initial value needs to be in the back. So finding those pieces will help you write the correct equation. But you need to remember that they're different. A linear equation is an adding or subtracting pattern, and an exponential equation is a multiplying or dividing pattern. So when you look at a table, again, you want to look at your y values. In this case, we have 2, 6, 18, and 54. We're going up. So it could be an addition pattern or it could be a multiplication pattern. Well, I could try addition first since I think addition's a little easier. I'll try here. 2 plus something can get me 6. Well, that's plus 4. But it must be the same for all of them. So 6 plus 4 should be 18. That's not true. That's 6 plus 4 is 10. So that already tells me it's not an addition pattern, and I need to try to multiply now. 2 times something should give me 6. 2 times 3 is 6. Well, that should also work for all of these numbers. 6 times 3, is that 18? Yes. 18 times 3, is that 54? Yes. Since we have a multiplication pattern, you should know that is an exponential function. So now that you realize it's an exponential function and you even have your pattern here, it's times 3, then we know we have a constant multiplier. Don't forget, exponential means you should have a constant multiplier. And now all you have to do is find the initial value, the y-intercept. Remember, the y-intercept needs to have that 0 as x. See, right here, x is 0. So if we want to find the initial value, we need to look where x is 0, which gets us that 2 here. That's why in the other table, you had to find that 0 in the table and you had to do it yourself. So now that we have each is here, go back to this equation, write it correctly. A is the initial value, 2. B is the multiplier, which we said every time we're multiplying by 3. So times 3. And you need to have the x as the exponent. So again, ask yourself, is this linear or exponential? Now that you have linear exponential, you should check for a pattern. I mean, for the correct equation, plug in the pattern and then find your initial value. Okay, so you guys are going over to page 9 and you're going to work on the table here. Again, if some of you are finishing early, that's fine. You guys can go ahead. But right now you should be working on page 9, going over to the table, decide if it's linear or exponential, and then that should help you write the equation. Oh,
3
and
or
I'll
4.
actually,
3 or 4.
oh, we said for this one, we gave them 4.
4. Okay.
Mhm. Okay, and I'll go in your paper and actually write the equations so you don't forget. But go ahead, you guys can work on the table.
Resume. And I take over again. All right. All of you guys should be able to see my screen. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Just like before, I'm gonna see this graph. And we're back on page 8, guys. So if you guys want to switch back to page 8, some of you guys don't need it, but some of you guys do. I'm gonna check and see, do I have a linear versus an exponential? Since I see a straight line, then I know this is gonna be linear. I can double check and see, like, okay, if I write the word slope. Okay, slope, this is going down. So then that means I'm gonna have a negative slope. And since I have linear, I know I'm going to have a constant rate. So I know I'm gonna have some sort of negative. So I know I don't have a constant multiplier and I don't have an exponential function. So I can start figuring out what my initial value is. My initial value is at 4. So I'm gonna write a 4. And then I'm gonna figure out what my slope is. My slope, I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, minus 3. So that's where that negative was from the 3, because I went down. And then 1, 2. I forgot to say that this was a point. So this is a +2. So then I know that I'm gonna have a +2 on the bottom. Notice this slope does not have an x yet. So when I'm asking you guys what the slope is, that doesn't mean that you're gonna put it with an x. It only has an x right here once I write it in an equation. So y equals what? -3 over 2. Now it gets the x. And then that initial value that I had, I'm gonna have +4. All right, so again, slope, I know it's negative, so I know I'm gonna have a negative number. My initial value is right here at 4, so there's the 4. And then I count 1, 2, 3 down, 2 to the right. So it's -3 over 2. So my equation, y equals -3 over 2x plus 4. Another 4 minutes or 3 minutes?
Yes. 4.
4. Okay. So I'm gonna resume. Oh God, where did it go? Right here.
All right.
Okay, so I see for the most part you guys are getting it right, except for the fact that some of you guys are not putting these guys in the correct order. So you're putting like the y-intercept in the front and then the negative 3 over 2x. Oh, that's not even that, but like, don't do that, okay? Slope goes first. The only time the initial value goes first is if you have an exponential function,
Mhm.
and that was an exponential. So watch out for that. But Ms.
Right.
Gomez is gonna take over.
Okay, yeah, and there's a reason why I wrote, if you look on your page, on page 9, there's a reason why I gave you these notes here. These notes are not going to be given to you during your final, okay, which is something you should probably start to memorize or start to study. There's 2 different equations. I forgot the R there. Linear is y equals mx plus b. You need the rate in the front and the initial value in the back. Remember, a linear function has either an adding or subtracting pattern. The exponential function, in this case, has the initial value in the front. This is probably why some of you switch them, but you need to get the placement correctly, which means you need to ask yourself, is this linear or is this exponential? Exponential is multiplication or dividing. So keep those things in mind, especially for this last word problem here. When you read these word problems, there's also clues that tell you if you're adding or if you're subtracting, or if you have a multiplication or division pattern. So we're going to read this word problem. It says, Miss Gomez spent $5 each day on Starbucks. She started the school year with $60 on her gift card. If I decide if this is linear or exponential, it'll make writing this equation a little easier. So I need to look for those clue words that either tell me adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. So I'll go back and read this, and I notice that it says Miss Gomez spent. That word spent tells me it's subtraction. So spending, it means you're losing, you're taking away from the money you have. Since I know this is a subtraction pattern, I should circle that it's a linear function. Why? Because subtraction patterns are linear. And since I'm spending $5 every day, it's already telling you your rate. So spending $5 means I'm subtracting $5 every day. So this pattern is -5. Okay, the next part. How do we find the initial value? Well, remember, the word initial means the beginning, what you start with. It's also your y-intercept. So if I read this problem again, in that second sentence, it says she started the school year with $60. That's already telling you the initial value, what you're starting with. So I should put 60 here. And don't forget, that's a positive 60. I'm not starting with negative money. So I'm starting with positive 60. Now, all I have to do is remind myself, I said this is linear, so I need to have the rate, the slope in the front. So whatever my slope was, I should write it in the front. So it should be y equals -5x. And then your initial value, which was 60, but that's a positive 60. So the equation is y equals -5x plus 60. Notice that the x is right next to a number. It's not the exponent because this is a line, it's linear. So when you're reading these problems, look for those clues. If it's spending, that's subtracting. Started, what you're starting with, that's your initial value. Okay, you guys are going to page 9. Remember, you have these notes up on the top to help you guys out decide if this word problem is adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing, and that should tell you what function it is. All right, so we'll go ahead and start your timer.
It's another 4 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Some of you guys are still having to remember, you know, if you have, 2/4, this simplifies to 1/2. And you need to remember the order. Same thing goes with this one. It's your slope first and then your y-intercept. And that's it for class, guys. We have 5 minutes left in class. I mean, here's the deal, guys. Everything must be turned in by Monday. No ifs, ands, or buts. It has to be turned in by Monday. I need to turn in grades. So everything must be turned in by Monday. I will have grades done today. I'm even going to get myself like a special lunch. I'm probably just going to have a snack right now and then have a good lunch. Is the exit ticket due to, no, it's due now. Exit tickets are always due right at the end of class. So you guys have 4 minutes to do your exit ticket. It says 4. Oh, no, it's due now. Do it now. But I need you guys to really focus. You guys are gonna get that progress report. But remember, do not hit submit until you guys see the report card, and it will be blank until I send you guys a message that says ready. If after I say ready, it still is blank, then let me know that, hey, it's still, it's still blank. But we will have tutoring at 12:10. And it'll be, like I said, it will probably be a long session. Not too long. It's not that bad. Like the last ones aren't that bad. And like if you because I'm not sharing. If you look at your assignment, and yes, you do need to finish the rest of these. The ones that say teacher, you guys can leave those blank, but the ones that say you, that's the one that you guys do. So this one you don't do, but this one you do. And honestly, the last few pages from 13 to 17, those are very easy. So it's not that much work, especially this last one. Also, guys, something that I forgot to tell everyone else, we've done every single one of these in the past. You have seen some of these like 5 times, and none of you guys noticed. Like, you have no idea how many times we've done some of these, and none of you guys have noticed. Like this one, I think you've seen this one specifically like 5 or 6 times. It's in like every single review that you guys have done and your notes. Like, it's pretty bad. Okay, so no, you can't just, start saying, oh yeah, I have. No, you didn't. I doubt it, because none of you guys did it, and you guys tend to always be like, no, I knew that. Sure, whatever, Fish, whatever. All right, guys. Oh yeah, some of you guys are like, I remember this page, so I already did it. And that's fine. But again, everything is due by Monday. Again, no ifs, ands, or buts. Everything is due. I technically gave you guys 1 extra week to be able to turn in missing assignments based off of the syllabus that you guys all signed at the beginning of the school year. So I don't want to hear it. But again, 12:10, I will be back. So will Miss Gomez, and we will start recording for the finishing off the rest of this stuff. So yeah, good luck, guys. I know that you guys will have 2 finals before we see you guys on Monday. So good luck on your first 2 finals. And we'll see you guys later. If not, we'll see you guys on Monday. Have a very good weekend. And if you guys need anything, let us know. Bye, guys.
Bye.